The Cubs had a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. We're going to go over all 3 games. We're going to look over what went right and what went wrong. All of that is happening soon on this episode of Cubs 360. Jack from Cubs 360. Thank you very much for tuning into episode 14 of the Cubs 360 podcast. If you're interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is my series recap to the San Francisco Giants series. I did not come out with this earlier because let's just say I wasn't feeling well all week. So I'm back, and here's my very late recap to this series. I will also have a recap for the Mets series coming out either later today or early tomorrow morning. But regardless, let's get into Game 1 of this series. So in Game 1, the pitching matchup is Roop against Boyd. So in the top of the first inning, Ramos struck out swinging, Adames grounds out to first, and Lee grounds out to short. In the bottom of the inning, Happ flies out to center, Tucker lines out to right, Suzuki is safe at first on a fielding error by Adames, and Bush struck out looking. As we head to the second inning, Chapman hits a base hit to left, Flores will line out to left, Mato struck out swinging, Chapman stole second, Villar gets hit by the pitch, but then Bailey struck out swinging to end the inning. In the bottom of the frame, Carson Kelly grounds out to first, PCA pops out to shortstop, and Nico Hoerner will line out to right. In the top of the third, Koss will line out to right, Ramos fouls out to first, and Adames struck out swinging. In the bottom of the third, Swanson hits a double to left, Lopez will ground out to Roop. Ian Happ will hit a home run to right center field to make it 2-0 Chicago. Kyle Tucker will hit a ground out to third, and Suzuki will line it out to second to end the inning. As we head to the fourth inning, Jung-Hoo Lee hits a base hit to left, Chapman grounds it to a fielder's choice to third, and Jung-Hoo Lee's out at second. Flores will ground out to Boyd, Chapman will go to second, but then Matos hits a home run to left center field to tie the game at 2. Villar will hit a base hit to center, and Bailey struck out swinging. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, Bush struck out swinging as well as Carson Kelly. PCA was safe at first on a fielding error by Chapman. Nico Hoerner will also hit a base hit, this time to right, and PCA will go to third. Nico Hoerner will steal second. Dansby Swanson will hit a base hit to left, which will score PCA and Nico Hoerner to make it 4-2 Chicago. Lopez reaches on an infield single to second, and Swanson will go to second. Ian Happ will ground it to a fielder's choice to second. Lopez is out at second to end the inning. In the fifth inning, Koss struck out swinging, Ramos struck out swinging as well, and Adames flew out to right, a 1-2-3 inning for Boyd. In the bottom of the frame for Roop, Tucker struck out looking, Suzuki lines out to center, and Bush flies out to center. In the top of the sixth, with Boyd still on the bump for the Cubs, Lee grounds out to second, Chapman will hit a base hit to left, and Flores grounds it to a double play to end the inning. In the bottom of the sixth, Birdsong will pitch for the Giants as Carson Kelly will hit a home run to left to make it 5-2 Chicago. PCA will hit a base hit to center. Nico Hoerner grounds it to a fielder's choice to short. PCA is safe at second on a throwing error by Adames. Hoerner will then go to second, and from the error, PCA will go to third. Dansby Swanson is safe at first on a fielding error by Chapman, so the bases are loaded. And Lopez will get walked, which will score PCA and advance Swanson and Hoerner a base, so it's now 6-2 Chicago. Ian Happ hits a sac fly to left, which will score Nico Hoerner, make it 7-2 Chicago. And then Tucker will get walked to load the bases once again. Bevins will now pitch for the Giants, and Suzuki will hit a base hit to left, which will score Swanson and Lopez. Tucker will go to second to make it 9-2 Cubs. Bush will get walked to load the bases once again, and Carson Kelly will ground it to a double play to end the inning. In the top of the seventh, with Thielbar on the bump for the Cubs, Mato struck out swinging, Villar will foul out to first, Bailey hits a base hit to left, and Koss struck out swinging. In the bottom of the frame, PCA struck out swinging, Nico Hoerner will ground out to short, Dansby Swanson will hit a double to right, and Lopez grounds out to second. In the top of the eighth, with Hollowell pitching for the Cubs, Brujan will go to left field, Ramos struck out looking, Adames flew out to right, and Jung-Hoo Lee lines out to left. In the bottom of the eighth inning, Wisely will go to second, and Koss will go to third. Brujan will ground out to second, Tucker will line out to left, and Suzuki fouls out to first. Hollowell is still pitching for the Cubs in the top of the ninth. Wisely will fly out to second, Flores will hit a base hit to right, Matos grounds out to third, Flores will go to second, Villar grounds out to short to end the game. So for the series opener, the Cubs take it by a final score of 9-2. So obviously the winning pitcher was Matt Boyd, who went 6 innings, only gave up 2 runs, 5 hits. He had 7 strikeouts. The loss goes to Roop, who pitched 5 innings, 2 runs against with 5 hits, with only 4 strikeouts. So my 3 stars for this game, nothing too crazy here, but my 3rd star is Carson Kelly, who went 1 for 4 with a home run. My 2nd star was Dansby Swanson, who went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And my 1st star was Ian Happ, who had a home run and 3 RBIs, 1 for 3. So that is game 1. The Cubs take the series opener, and now we will head to game number 2. So in game 2, the pitching matchup is Justin Verlander versus Colin Ray. In the top of the 1st, Yastrzemski will fly out to left. Adames struck out swinging, as well as Jung Hoo Lee. In the bottom of the 1st, Ian Happ struck out swinging, Tucker gets walked, and Suzuki grounds it to a double play. In the top of the frame, in the 2nd inning, Matt Chapman will get walked, Flores pops out to 3rd, Wade Jr. hits a base hit to right, which will send Chapman to 3rd, and Ramos reaches on an infield single to 3rd. Chapman will score on an error, Wade Jr. will go to 2nd, and he is safe at 3rd on the throwing error by John Birdie, who's playing 3rd base. It is now 1-0 Giants, and right after, Bailey will hit a sac fly to left, which will score Wade Jr., so now it's 2-0 Giants, and Wisely struck out swinging. In the bottom of the inning, Bush will fly out to center, Nico Horner lines out to 2nd, and PCA lines out to right. 1-2-3 inning for Verlander. In the 3rd inning, Yastrzemski will fly out to center, and Willy Adames will hit a base hit to center. Jung Hoo Lee hits a home run to right to make it 4-0 Giants. Chapman will hit a base hit to center, and Flores grounds it to a double play to end the inning. For the Cubs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Swanson will hit a base hit to left. Miguel Amaya with a home run to left center to make it 4-2 in favor of the Giants. John Birdie will fly out to right. Ian Happ gets walked. Kyle Tucker will fly out to center, and Suzuki struck out looking. In the top of the 4th, Colin Ray pitching still. Wade Jr. will fly out to center. Ramos reaches on an infield single to 2nd. Bailey will hit a base hit to right, which will send Ramos to 3rd. Wisely will hit a sac bunt to 2nd, which will score Ramos to make it 5-2 Giants. And Yastrzemski will line out to 3rd to end the inning. In the bottom of the 4th, Bush struck out swinging. Nico Horner lines out to left, and PCA grounds out to 1st. In the top of the 5th now, Adames struck out swinging. Jung Hoo Lee flies out to center. Matt Chapman will hit a double to left. Flores will get walked, and Wade Jr. flies out to left. In the bottom of the frame, Dansby Swanson will hit a base hit to center. Miguel Amaya grounds out to Verlander. Swanson will go to 2nd. And there was a pickoff error by Wisely, so that'll send Swanson to 3rd. And John Birdie reaches on an infield single to 2nd, which will score Swanson to make it 5-3. Birdie got caught stealing 2nd, so he's out. Ian Happ gets hit by the pitch. Kyle Tucker will hit a base hit to right, which will send Happ to 3rd. Suzuki lines out to right to end the inning. Pomeranz is now pitching for the Cubs in the top of the 6th. Ramos gets hit by the pitch. Bailey will fly out to center. Wisely will ground it to a fielder's choice at 2nd, and Ramos will be out at 2nd. And Yastrzemski will pop out to 3rd. In the bottom of the 6th, Rodriguez pitching for the Giants. Mike Bush will strike out swinging. Nico Horner hits a base hit to center. PCA will fly out to center. Dansby Swanson gets walked, and Nico Horner will go to 2nd. And Miguel Amaya struck out swinging. Keller is on the bump for the Cubs in the 7th inning. Adames flew out to center. Lee will hit a base hit to center, and Chapman will ground it to a double play to end the inning. Doval pitching for the Giants in the bottom of the 7th. John Birdie flew out to center. Ian Happ will strike out looking, and Kyle Tucker will ground out to 2nd. Palencia now pitching for the Cubs in the 8th inning. Flores is safe at 1st on a fielding error by Mike Bush. Wade Jr. will fly out to center, and Ramos grounds it to a double play. In the bottom of the 8th, with Rogers pitching for the Giants, Suzuki grounds out to short. Mike Bush will ground out to 1st, and Nico Horner grounds out to shortstop. Flexen pitching for the Cubs in the 9th inning. Bailey will ground out to 2nd. Wisely struck out swinging. Yastrzemski will hit a base hit to right, and Willy Adames flew out to center. As we head to the bottom of the 9th, with Walker pitching for the Giants, PCA will get walked. Dansby Swanson struck out looking. Kelly will pinch hit for Miguel Amaya, and Carson Kelly gets walked, and PCA will go to 2nd. Justin Turner will pinch hit for John Birdie, and Turner hits a base hit to right, which will score PCA. Kelly will go to 3rd, so it is a 5-4 ball game, and Brujan ran for Justin Turner. Ian Happ struck out swinging. As Miller goes on the bump for the Giants, Kyle Tucker hits a base hit to center, which will score Kelly. Brujan will go to 2nd. So Kyle Tucker brings in the tying run to make it 5 apiece for the Giants and the Cubs in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, but then Suzuki struck out swinging to end the inning. We go to extra innings. Porter Hodges pitching for the Cubs in the top of the 10th. Carson Kelly's catching, and Lopez will go to 3rd. Jung Hoo Lee flew out to shortstop. Chapman flew out to center. Flores gets walked, and Wade Jr. flew out to left. As we head to the bottom of the 10th with Miller still pitching for the Giants, Mike Bush got walked. Nico Horner flew out to right. Suzuki went to 3rd. Bush will go to 2nd on a fielder's indifference. and PCA struck out swinging, and Swanson lined out to third. So a wasted opportunity for the Cubs to potentially bring in the winning run there, but we head to the 11th inning. Things get off the rails here, and we'll explain just why. Ryan Pressly will go in now for the Cubs. Cost ran for Wade Jr. Ramos will hit a double to left, which will send Cost to third. Bailey will hit a base hit to center, which will score Cost. Ramos will go to third to make it 6-5 Giants. Wisely hit a sac bunt. Ramos scores, and Bailey goes to second to make it 7-5. Yastrzemski gets walked, which will load the bases. Adames got hit by the pitch, which will obviously score Bailey. Yastrzemski goes to second, Wisely to third to make it 8-5 Giants. Jung-Hoo Lee hits a base hit to right, which will score Wisely. Adames to second, Yastrzemski to third to make it 9-5. And then Chapman will hit a base hit to left, which will score Yastrzemski and Willy Adames. Jung-Hoo Lee goes to second to make it 11-5. And then Flores will hit a base hit to left, which will score Jung-Hoo Lee, Chapman to third. So it is 12-5 as Thielbar goes in for the Cubs. A very disastrous inning for Ryan Pressly, giving up 7 runs in that frame. And with Thielbar in the bump, Cost struck out swinging, and Ramos will hit a double to left, which will score Chapman, and Flores will go to third, and then Bailey hit a sac fly to center, which will score Flores to make it 14-5. VLR will hit for Wisely, and he struck out swinging to finally end the inning for the Cubs. The game is pretty much out of reach now. Heading into the bottom of the 11th, it is 14-5 in favor of San Francisco. Harrison is pitching for the Giants. Cost will go to second, and Villar's at first. Carson Kelly struck out swinging. Lopez lines out to center, and Happ struck out swinging to end the game there. The Chicago Cubs lose Game 2 of this series by a final score of 14-5. The winning pitcher in this one goes to Miller, and the loss goes to none other than Ryan Pressly. So another bullpen collapse, especially from Pressly and Thielbar. Again, the bullpen is either very good or very bad. There's no in between. But unfortunately, you got one of those very bad games from the bullpen, specifically Ryan Pressly. So, yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. So the Cubs, through 2 games in this series, are split at 1 apiece. They have a chance to take this series in game number 3. So in the third and final game of this series, the pitching matchup is Ben Brown versus Robbie Ray. In the top of the first, Yastrzemski will get walked. Adames reaches on an infield single to third. Yastrzemski will go to second. Jung-Hoo Lee fouls out to the catcher. Matt Chapman struck out looking. Flores hits a base hit to right, which will score Yastrzemski. And Adames will go to third and make it 1-0 Giants right away. Ramos grounds it to a fielder's choice to third. Flores is out at second to end the inning. In the bottom of the frame, Robbie Ray on the bump. Ian Happ will fly out to left. Tucker will fly out to right. And Suzuki grounds out to second. 1-2-3 inning for Robbie Ray. In the top of the second, Wade Jr. flew out to center. Huff struck out swinging, and Cost grounds out to second. And then in the bottom of the second, Carson Kelly struck out swinging. Justin Turner grounds out to third. Nico Horner will hit a double to short. And PCA struck out swinging. In the top of the third, Yastrzemski struck out swinging. Adames struck out looking. Lee pops out to shortstop. In the bottom of the third, Swanson pops out to second. John Birdie will ground out to third. Ian Happ gets walked. Kyle Tucker will get walked. Happ will go to second. And Tucker stole second, and Happ stole third, but Suzuki struck out looking. In the top of the fourth, Chapman will get walked. Flores will hit a base hit to left, which will send Chapman to second. Ramos struck out swinging. Wade Jr. will hit a double to right. Chapman will score. Flores will go to third to make it 2-0 San Francisco. Huff struck out looking. Cost will hit a base hit to center, which will score Flores, but then Wade Jr. is thrown at home to end the inning, but the run scores. It is 3-0 Giants. In the bottom of the fourth, Kelly grounds out to shortstop. Justin Turner struck out swinging. Nico Horner will hit a double to center. PCA will hit a double to left, which will score Nico Horner to make it 3-1, but then Dansby Swanson will ground out to the shortstop. In the top of the fifth, Yastrzemski struck out swinging. Willy Adames will hit a double to left. Jung-Hoo Lee struck out swinging, as well as Matt Chapman. In the bottom of the fifth, John Birdie grounds out to third. Ian Happ will strike out swinging. Tucker will ground out to second. Hollowell pitching for the Cubs in the top of the sixth. Flores will hit a base hit to right. Ramos will get walked. 2 runners on. Wade Jr. will hit a base hit to right, so the bases are loaded. But then Huff grounds it into a double play. And Flores is out at home. Wade Jr. will go to second. Ramos to third. Cost will get walked. Paramans will pitch for the Cubs. And Yastrzemski struck out swinging to end the inning. In the bottom of the sixth, Robbie Ray still pitching for the Giants here. Suzuki lines out to right. Carson Kelly will ground out to the shortstop. And Justin Turner will fly out to right. 1-2-3 inning there. Merriweather will pitch for the Cubs in the seventh. Adames gets walked. Lee will ground it out to second. Adames to second. Matt Chapman will ground out to second, and Adames will go to third. And Flores will ground it out to third to end the inning as we head to the bottom of the frame with Doval pitching for the Giants. Nico Hoerner grounds out to short. PCA struck out swinging. Swanson gets walked. Mike Bush will pinch hit for John Birdie, but Bush struck out swinging. In the top of the eighth with Keller pitching for the Cubs, Turner will go to third and Bush will go to first. Ramos grounds out to short, and Wade Jr. will pop out to short, and Huff struck out looking. In the bottom of the eighth, Rogers pitching for the Giants. Happ grounds out to first. Tucker will ground out to third, and Suzuki flew out to left 1-2-3 inning for Rogers. In the top of the ninth, with Flexen pitching for the Cubs, Koss will line out to center. Yastrzemski reaches on a bunt single to Flexen. He's safe at second on a throwing error by Flexen. So Adames will ground out to short. Yastrzemski will go to third, but then Lee grounds out to third to end the inning. So last licks for the Cubs in the bottom of the ninth with Walker pitching for the Giants. Carson Kelly will hit a base hit to center. Turner grounds it into a double play. So 2 outs right there, and Nico Hoerner grounds out to third to end the inning. The San Francisco Giants win this series by winning the series finale against the Chicago Cubs by a final score of 3-1. So the winning pitcher obviously was Robbie Ray. The loss goes to Ben Brown, and Walker will get the save. So it just feels like in every loss, you can only get one side of it. It feels like if the offense is clicking, the pitching obviously isn't. But if the pitching is clicking for the most part, then the offense is silent. I'm not going to blame this loss really on Ben Brown. Obviously, he gave up those 3 runs. However, the offense didn't do its part in this game. Considering how good our offense has been this year, you'd probably want a little bit more than just 1 run. But anyways, the Chicago Cubs, even though they take 1 out of 3, they're still in somewhat of a decent position. The St. Louis Cardinals obviously have won a lot more, so they're slowly but surely catching up to the Chicago Cubs. So they have to keep their foot on the gas. The Cubs are still first in the Central Division. Obviously, the Reds and the Brewers, they're lurking around somewhere, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates are just, in the basement. But anyways, I'm not too worried about the Chicago Cubs, but this definitely was a big test to see where the Cubs were at because the San Francisco Giants are pretty much at the same level of play as the Cubs. The Giants and Cubs are, again, similar. So I thought this was going to be a very big test to see where we are as a team. They hung in there for the most part, but that bullpen collapse in the second game of the 11th inning, that can't happen. You've seen bullpen collapses on multiple occasions with the Cubs this season. It's bad. That's all I'm going to say. So regardless, 1 out of 3 from the Giants in this series. They're wrapping up their series against the New York Mets, so I will have a series recap, again, either later today or early tomorrow morning. In addition, I would like to talk about some of the roster holes that the Cubs have. I'm going to look at some options that we could look at to replace those holes. I'm specifically talking about the starting pitching holes. Obviously, Justin Steele's out for the year, which we already knew, but Shota Imanaga got hurt with a hamstring injury in his start against the Milwaukee Brewers. So, again, you're going to have to hope that for now the starting pitching can hold its ground until you can get somebody. We'll look at that, and we'll look at guys that could take over third base because it's been a mess ever since we sent down Matt Shaw, but we'll get more into that in an upcoming episode that'll be coming out sooner rather than later, so be on the lookout for that. Give me your thoughts on the series against the San Francisco Giants. I will see you for those 2 videos, so be on the lookout for those. Again, if you're interested in the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X, and that's all I gotta say. This is Jack from Cubs360, and as always, go Cubs go.